welcome to D&D with A and G.
Yay!
It's
Welcome
great to see
back.
you, Jenna.
It's great to see you. Episode 8.
Episode 8, feeling great. I gotta do a rhyme. Thank
Nailed it.
you.
How are you this week, Amy?
I'm doing well this week. Coming off seeing the family, specifically my nephew Jack, always leaves me feeling joyful and
Oh,
energetic. Yeah, no, I'm crazy about the little kids, so it's always a really good time. And the right before I called him and I told him I was coming out and I told him I was going to bring him something. And so then he immediately listed three very specific things: a gray pickup truck, a blue 18-wheeler, and a red car. And so I found each thing and had them delivered to his house. So it was really funny. We played with all those things. But anyway, I guess that's a
oh.
little humble brag because I'm trying to be number one best aunt. So
I feel like you've got to be number one best aunt. There's no way there's any competition for that.
thank you, Jenna. She has a lovely sister, but what can I say? I'm there can be only one. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It's so hard with a late Thanksgiving. Like you just jump into pure holiday madness. So I'm just like really feeling it. It's just like it's 3 weeks and then we're there.
Wait, really?
I think so,
I
or
mean,
it
of
feels
course,
like
that has
it.
to be it.
And I've got a pretty big video shoot right in the middle that's kind of knocking out one of
Mhm.
those. So
Okay.
yeah, it just feels like, whoa.
Adults when we were kids, when they would say time goes by faster as you get older, they were right. You
I
know what?
know. I feel like I spent all of this year avoiding this year because of the election. Like I was just like,
Right.
la la, like fingers in my ears,
Yeah.
like just hoping, just really hoping for a different outcome and just trying to ignore what was happening. Um, and now I guess I'm gonna do that for 4 more years.
Right. I mean, it's like,
But yeah, I realized it was something that happened. Oh, somebody mentioned the Barbie movie, and I was like, oh yeah, that was this summer. And then I was like, oh no,
you're
that
like,
was last summer. And that's
uh,
how much I just didn't do this year. Like,
right. Right. Well, and it's just, I don't know. The quickness with which time is passing is a little off-putting. I'll say that.
yeah, for sure.
But that's why it's so important to be in the present and appreciate the present. Like we are here together during this podcast episode
Yeah. No time like the present to come align.
to come align and in fact talk about God's or Gaia's best present to the human race. That's right, dogs.
Yeah, that's our topic for this week is dog breeds. Um, which before we get into give you a quick overview of what we do in this podcast in case you haven't joined us before on any of the previous episodes 1 through 7.
Check them
Go
out.
back, check out that content. Basically we take the D&D alignment chart, Dungeons and Dragons alignment chart, and which goes from lawful, neutral, and chaotic on the top, good, neutral, evil on the bottom, which creates a 9 grid chart. Each grid in that 9 grid chart has kind of a different characteristic. And we take a different topic each week, and Amy and I separately put that topic into the grid. And then we discuss our picks over the course of an episode. If we have the same one, if we pick the same one in the same place, it's twinsies. If we have the same one flipped, it's crisscross applesauce. And other things could still happen that we don't even know of because it's a young
That's
podcast. So,
true. We're in our
um,
early days.
yeah. So we're excited that you're listening and jumping on board. Follow us on Instagram at D&D Wang, which is D&D with A and G is what it is supposed to
D&D
stand for.
Wang. D&D
Um,
Wang.
Engage, leave comments, tell us how you would have done it differently. But yeah, today we're talking about dog breeds.
Yes.
So Amy, tell me this was a difficult one for me,
Yeah.
even though
Me
I
too.
I have a lot of dog breed passion from my
Sure.
childhood, but yeah, it was hard to do. So tell me, what was your approach this week?
Well, and I'll back us up a little bit and tell our viewers and listeners,
My
who
dad only watches this on YouTube, so he is our
Yes!
father.
Hi,
Hi,
Mr.
Mr. Shelnut.
Sheldon! Don't you like my eyeshadow? So I think it's important for our audience to know, I mean, we're both big dog people, right?
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
for
we're
sure.
dog people, and you've been a dog person ever since I've known you. I am more of a newcomer to the dog person, and I can't thinking about my life before a dog seems sad and lonely and a desert with no with nothing to bring me joy. I mean, dogs are like a very, very, very big and important part of my life now. And I would say, Jenna, I don't want to speak for you. You have always loved dogs, yes?
Yeah, I've been pretty upset. I mean, when I was little, I would get this. I had multiples of these, like a big encyclopedia of dog breeds
Oh my
that was
God.
like just photos. I mean, it had descriptions and characteristics. It's like each page was just a different dog breed on these huge hardback books. And I would just flip through and read about dog breeds. I thought
That
back then
is
I thought I
amazing.
might be a veterinarian before I learned you had to
Oh,
put dogs down. And then that
you're
was like, nope, I'm done with this. That was not something I'm going to be capable of.
so
But I loved learning about them. As a child, I was pretty obsessed. So
yay! Honestly, that's the reason Eric didn't become a veterinarian. He was like, "I would
yeah,
rather try to work on people and then they die than have to put a dog down."
yeah, same. It's like if a dog,
Yeah.
like dogs in movies, like I can handle bad things happening to people. I
Yes.
cannot handle bad things happening to dogs. I found out about. I mean, I had the idea, like, I get so upset when things happen to dogs in movies that if I see a dog in a preview for a movie, I'm like, I can't watch the movie unless I know if the dog's okay. And I was like, they need
Mhm.
an app for that. And then I found out
And
there
they
is
have it.
there is an app for that. Does the
My
dog
brother
die?
told me about it.
Yeah,
Does the dog
Tiffany told
die?
me about it. Yeah. Anything you can think of, honestly, someone's already thought of it
Yeah.
because we all are the same. It's obviously a nice like
Yeah.
connectedness of humans.
Totally.
Um, so so yeah. But yeah, so tell me, so what was
Oh,
your
sorry.
so
Yes.
how'd you tackle the alignment chart?
So, pretty typical Amy fashion, just really leaning into the old emotion, the old ticker. Except for evils, I couldn't say a dog breed was evil. And so my evils are fictional dogs.
But are even fictional dogs evil? Could you even
Well,
find
I think the people who either conceived of them or who bring out their evilness in the fiction are really the ones with evil, because no, I do not think that dogs are capable of evil.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, what about you? How did you pick?
Ultimately, this might be a little bit of a cop out, but I kind of threw back to one of our earliest reference charts we've had for this, which is where each square in the grid is represented by a Marvel character
Yeah. Oh, I
from
love
the
this.
Marvel
Hey.
universe. So I'm really just picking the dog that is most like the Marvel
Oh
character
my oh, I love this approach.
rather than because I
Love
don't
it.
think any dogs are evil.
Yep.
So it's really just like, if
Mm,
Scarlett Johansson is lawful evil, which dog is most like
I
Scarlett
gotcha.
Johansson, as opposed to which dog is lawful evil. So it is a little bit of a cop out move. Um,
I don't think it's cop out. I actually think you're really digging into the complexity and nuance of each character. Do you know what I mean? That's
mhm.
it's very flat for us to just give them this two-word definition of who they are. So you're doing a little bit more. You're doing that extra labor. Once again, Jenna coming to the podcast episode, making sure that y'all are entertained.
We'll see. We'll see. If you don't know about dog breeds and you also don't know about Marvel
Then
characters,
what are you doing? Go out and adopt a dog.
you will be a little lost with my analysis this week. And I apologize.
Ah,
Well,
so,
let's dive in, right?
shall we? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we
you
should. Yeah.
you want to start us off this week?
Sure. Okay, shall we begin in our typical position?
I feel like lawful good is a chance for twinsies. I feel like this is a
Oh, ah,
no.
no, I don't.
Okay, okay. Start us
Dang,
off then.
maybe my first choice. These shuffled. I shuffled these. It
Okay.
was hard. It was hard. So my lawful good is border collie.
Oh, okay. That is a good one. That is a good one for this.
Mm, but we're not twinsies. Dang. So I picked border collie because border collie is, I think, and okay, I'm gonna pause and say now at this time in my life, after going to and graduating from law school and practicing law, I would do if I could go back and change one thing about my life, I would be a dog scientist. But let's put a pin in that.
A
So
dog scientist? Is that
yes,
a what is a dog scientist?
I don't know, they just do dog type research because I've watched a
Mhm.
lot of dog content on TV, and there seem to be some people that are working on this, teaching dogs how to drive, seeing how many words dogs can know, and that, you know what, that's really what I miss my calling. So border collie, supposedly one of, if not the smartest breed of dog. I'm sure you've seen videos of all the amazing things they can do. There's one border collie that knows like over 300 words in individual words, like can go get has like 300 toys, and you tell it go get Squeaky, and it goes into the other room and gets Squeaky out of 300, toys. But also, I think watching them herd when they're working dogs is a thing of wonder and beauty, and it's incredible. And it's very lawful. They're very lawful in that they're following their commands, right? And they're doing it for the good, I guess. And so, yes, I say the border collie. Also, they're gorgeous.
They are good looking dogs for sure. No, I love that pick. That's a great pick for lawful good. Um, You may remember, I mean, lawful good, I'm sure our loyal followers remember, but it's someone who follows the rules, follows the laws in pursuit of doing good, in pursuit of doing the right thing. And in Marvel characters, the quintessential example of this,
Oh
and this is
yeah.
a great one to fall back on anytime you're trying to remember what a lawful good example is Captain America. Like,
Hmm.
which, and then the actor that portrays Captain America is Chris Evans. So I'm referencing both the character and the actors.
Oh, I like that.
And I think both of these work really nicely for this dog pairing.
I
So
think I know what it is.
so um so if you think of, and I think and part of the reason why I chose this Marvel, because I think the Marvel characters just do a really nice example. They did a
Mhm.
really good job of representing all of these, with the possibly the exception of Scarlett Johansson is the only
I
one that I
agree.
take a little bit of
I
issue with.
agree.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, I think they did a really good job throughout the chart of really capturing the characters. So Captain America is a quintessential example of lawful good. And I think the dog that really sums that up is, you could either go golden retriever or a lab. I mean,
Mhm.
it is the lawful good dog.
Which
It
one
is
did you
the
go with?
Captain America. I put golden retriever because I
I
just feel
did
like
have golden retriever for a moment,
it
and the
feels like
only
Captain
reason
America is a golden
yes,
retriever. It's like,
100%,
go ahead
100%,
and put red, white, and blue on that dog.
100%, and the truth is, the only reason I moved it was because there was another dog that I needed to get on the chart. But you're absolutely right, that dog is definitely marching at the front of the July 4th parade, you know?
Yes. Yes. I used to actually have a big grudge against golden retrievers, and I've kind of warmed up to them more recently. Like I used to think they were just kind of dull and didn't have a lot of personality, but I've
Yeah.
actually really I think gotten to see how silly and goofy and fun and
Oh,
loving they can be. And now
do you
I find them very charming.
have a friend that has one, or maybe one
We
at
had one that was an office dog for a long
oh,
time.
everyone needs an office dog.
Everyone needs an office dog. Yeah. Chandler, he was a very good boy. And I
What a
think, do you
and what
do
a
you
golden retriever name. Chandler's such a golden retriever name. Are you kidding me?
truly do you follow We Rate Dogs?
Yes, of
I
course, of
mean,
course.
they're it's the best. First of all, it is the
Yeah.
best social
On
account on Instagram. He has created the most kind and
oh,
wonderful
that's true.
community. Like, there is no malice, there is no picking people apart. It is
Yeah.
literally, it raises so much money. It does so much good. Like, and it's just people just trying to come up with funny, heartwarming, lighthearted comments to lift each other up and like
It's
brighten
amazing.
each other's day. It is truly the nicest place on the internet. It's the nicest place on the internet. If you want to add something to brighten your social feed, follow We Rate Dogs. I
Yeah.
love it so much.
100% agree, and that's like, the internet, I feel like it's few and far between these days where it's
Right.
actually and they always rate the dog more than 10 out of 10, and I love that.
It's
You never
amazing.
get a dog that gets less than a 10 out of 10,
It's
and that's
perfect.
accurate.
It's perfect.
Uh,
Um,
I think that's a great pick.
do you want me to keep us going?
Well, one more thing I will quickly say is
Yes.
I actually grew up with a golden retriever my grandma had, and best dog ever, we could pull
Oh.
and ride Goldie, which, very creative.
Oh.
But she was a wonderful dog. But Eric, my husband, is an, ER doctor, and he says that the most bites are that he sees are golden retrievers. That
I've
might
heard
just
that.
be because there's so many,
Yeah, I've heard that stat. Yeah, and I assume the confounding variable is just the
Yeah.
numbers of them, but I have heard that.
I love
Um,
to cite it when talking about other dogs, but we'll get there.
um, okay, so I will take
Yeah.
us to lawful neutral, and this one does have a bit of a backstory to it, so y'all will have to stay with me. So lawful neutral, this is someone who follows the laws all the time, whether it's doing good or bad. So we sort of hate this person sometimes.
Yes.
However, on the Marvel chart, this is Agent Phil Coulson. So we do actually love Phil Coulson. Um,
Yeah.
but
He's so
he is
lovable.
he is sometimes just
That's
doing
true.
doing the rules no matter what.
That's
Played by Clark Gregg. So it is like a little bit not quite the level of like superhero character, but he is a very beloved character in this series. But always following the rules, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, so this is a very specific pick, but it has a very specific story with it. So I have picked a TSA, as in the
Ah,
security check, lemon beagle. because because there was a time that I was flying back from Germany with my sister, and I was waiting for my bags to come at the carousel, and a TSA woman is walking around with this very cute lemon beagle, and I was like, oh, look at that cute lemon beagle. Like, we had a beagle. I liked beagles. And like it's like walking around, and I'm just like watching it because of course I love dogs, and I'm just like watching, and it keeps coming closer to me, and then like just stops and stares at my bag, and I was like, that's weird. And she was like, ma'am, do you have food in your bag? And I was like, no, I don't. And she was like, I'm going to need you to open your bag. And I was like, okay. And I opened my bag. And then she pulls an apple out of my bag. And then I look at my sister because I remembered when we boarded the flight to Germany, she had an overstuffed bag and asked if she could put a few things into my bag to get her weights down. And one of the things was an apple that she planned on eating on the flight from Germany to the United States. And she never ate it. And anyway, and it was in my bag. And I didn't even notice what she put in my bag. So I didn't even know it was in there. So the woman
oh,
just like stars or like writes something on basically the piece of paper that the border control is gonna see
right.
when we go in. So we go through customs or US whatever, and the guy asks me about it. No big deal, whatever. I explain, my sister put an apple in my bag, blah blah blah. We move on, they let me in, I'm back in the country. However, years later, when I apply for global
You're
entry,
kidding me.
when I apply for global entry to like, just to make it easier to re-enter
No.
the company, you have to do an interview. You have to go, and there's no place you can do it in South Carolina, of course. So you have to go to the place we ended up doing it was in the Miami airport. So we go to the Miami airport, and um, Todd does his first, my husband does his first, and then I go back to do mine, and they're like, can you tell us about the fruit smuggling incident? I was like, I'm sorry, what? They're
Fruit
like,
smuggling
when you
incident?
smuggled fruit in from a foreign
Oh
country. And I
god,
was like, oh my
yes.
God. So then I had to explain it to these guys in Miami. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even believe this is like on my permanent record,
Right.
this damn apple. And then that lasts for 10 years. At 10 years later, I go to renew it. Todd renews his online, no problem. I try to renew mine online. They're like, sorry, you have to come in for a follow-up interview because
No.
it's like I'm permanently marked
Because
by this damn lemon beagle.
because of the fruit smuggling incident.
So,
So wait a minute, what is a lemon beagle?
oh, they're like yellow in color. They're really beautiful.
Yeah, that was a narc for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, lawful neutral, the TSA Lemon Beagle. Thank you for joining me on that journey.
Incredible. And if I may, I should say,
Yes. Go
um,
ahead.
very recently we were going to Fright Fest at Universal Studios, and
Oh,
it's
fun.
I I mean, it was fun. But it was the people were fun. The people I went with were very fun. But I don't get scared. Anyway, whatever. So I'm going in there and yeah, I got my weed on me because I want to be stoned for this experience. And it's
Isn't
legal.
that legal?
It's
Yeah.
legal here. It's legal. They have private security outside of the gates to get into Universal Studios because they don't want people. They're saying their policy is they don't want people smoking weed on the premises. And I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
fuck that. I don't have anything that's going to smell bad, so I'm just going to take it in. They had a dog. It literally jumped up on top of me, put its paws like right here. Like I got. I got got by that dog. So anyway, I feel you on the narc dogs. I still was able to sneak it in because dogs, as it turns out, aren't very smart. So, still,
Well, what is
I
your lawful neutral?
it's similar. It's a German Shepherd. German shepherds, I feel like only because I have this thought that dogs can't be evil. If there was going to be an evil dog, it would be a German shepherd because they are, sort of in all these but you look at all these photos from from like the most horrible humanitarian rights violations over the past however many hundred years, and there's a German shepherd like front and center, you know what I mean? Like biting, John Lewis's leg in Selma, or corralling Jewish people in Poland before. So sorry guys, I under you're following orders, but you don't care if it's good or bad because that shit is bad. So German Shepherds it is for me.
I did consider, yeah, like law enforcement trained
Right.
animals as a
I didn't even get into the drug dogs. Talk about narcs, man. Come on, give me a break. Nonviolent drug offenses. Are we still talking about that? Okay. Anyway.
well, keep us going with lawful
Oh,
evil then.
well, it's pretty similar. So, as I mentioned, I didn't want to deem any actual dog breed evil. So, I picked fictional dogs for this category. Any of you that have children or nibblings who are small will know a little thing called Paw Patrol. And it is a show where dogs are filling these positions like cops, essentially. There's other things too, but there's a cop. And I feel about cops. ACAB. So, lawful evil, they're using the law to and so I think Paw Patrol is lawful evil. And I got a shout out to my friend Sergi, who will never listen to this. But my nephew loves Paw Patrol, and I texted my friend Sergi and was asking him if his young boys also love Paw Patrol, and his response was that fascist shit isn't allowed in this house. That fascist bootlicking shit isn't allowed in this house. So anyway, that's Paw Patrol is my lawful evil. How
That's a
about you?
good pick.
Thank you.
Yeah. Strong, very strong.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I love it. Um, as I mentioned earlier, I don't really agree with Scarlett Johansson being the pick for lawful evil. I think she's the only
Feels
one that
sexist.
it feels sexist. Yeah, the powerful woman is considered
Mhm.
evil. But I'm going with Scarlett Johansson. I'm picking a dog that I think best represents Scarlett Johansson since that's what they went with, even though I don't think that she
Mm,
is necessarily lawful or evil.
mm.
I think
Oh, good
both
point.
wrong. I think wrong on
Yeah,
both counts.
yeah.
However, I was like, what dog represents her? And I do think I found one that's really good to represent her. Which oddly, did you watch the dog show
I
on
only watched a
Thanksgiving?
little bit of it. I didn't watch the entire thing.
We had it on while we were doing Thanksgiving prep. And I saw this one dog briefly. And I was like, when I was trying to think of the dog that represents Scarlett Johansson, I was like, I don't know what that breed was, but I know that's the dog I want, but I don't know what that breed was. So then I end up Googling, and I know I'm flagged somewhere for this, like sexy red-haired dogs. I'm like, that's weird. That's a weird thing that's in my Google search history now. Like weird.
Give
But I
me a
did,
dog that's curvy in all the right places.
yeah, not great, Jenna. But I did find
Pornhub.
it.
What? So that Google search?
I
What?
did get there eventually. I don't think that was, I think ultimately what came up from that was like most a better way to word that. A more
Amazing.
a more normal way to phrase that.
Incredible. So who
But
was it?
it's called a pharaoh hound.
Let me look this up. I don't know
Yeah,
this.
they're beautiful. And I remember because they mentioned on the
Oh,
dog show that
very,
this
very good.
one that was in it that was representing was also had been featured in like J. Crew magazines, which I also tried
Mm.
searching that way. When I didn't want to be a creep, but I couldn't find that. And it's this really athletic, like slender dog. It kind of has pointy ears and like a long
Yeah, it's very
snout.
pretty.
It looks like it could totally do like ninja shit like Scarlett Johansson's
Also true.
character, Black Widow. It's a really beautiful dog. It's very sleek, elegant, but also powerful
Mm,
looking dog.
I
So
get that.
in the yeah, a little unusual, kind of stealthy. So yeah, I picked the Pharaoh Hound.
Mm.
Look it up. And you
Look it
don't have to
up.
Google sexy redhead dog. You can just Google Pharaoh Hound.
Jenna did that work for you.
Congratulations.
I love it. Incredible pick and beautiful dog, truly. I'd never heard of that breed, so thank you.
I feel like I had seen it, but I had not paid close attention to it before. Um,
So I guess we're
okay,
moving right along with you for neutral good. Good, neutral.
okay. Neutral good.
This
Um,
might we might have twinsies.
really?
Oh, maybe not.
Oh, did you put well, I think I might have originally had what you had here, but then I
Okay.
moved it.
Okay. We did that for that
Um,
was our also our lawful good. Same. We
we need a name for that.
need a name.
That's like gut instinct, and then we moved it.
Yeah, right. Close call. So close.
Uh, let's see. So neutral good, according to the reference chart, is Thor,
Mm.
which is Liam Hemsworth, and ultimately where I landed with this is the French Bulldog.
Oh, no way. No, wait. Okay. Okay. Let me hear why. Let me hear why.
Because there is something about the French Bulldog. Don't think about neutral good. Think about Thor and
Okay. Okay.
think about Liam Hemsworth. That
Okay.
and Thor is
Oh, it's Chris Hemsworth. It's Chris Hemsworth.
oh, Chris Hemsworth.
Yep.
Sorry. That's
Liam's the
like
hotter one.
the one that I didn't actually fully look up. I was like, oh, I know that one. This is why I should Google things. Chris Hemsworth, thank you. Um, Thor, he's kind of dopey in a
Yeah,
way. He's
totally.
a little goofy, but also kind of arrogant. He's a little full of
Mm.
himself. He is like a
Mm.
king or prince or something. He's like, or like a god, a god. I guess he's a god.
Yeah, I think so.
He like
Demigod.
owns a planet or something. I don't know. He's like kind of
Yeah,
important and like a little high and mighty in that way, because of
yeah,
that. And French bulldogs are kind of that way too. Like they're
totally.
pretty full of themselves for small dogs. Like they kind of like um walk big shit even though they're like they don't realize that they're like little teeny dogs. Like I
I
think
like that pick.
they're kind of big dogs in small dogs bodies, so I feel like they kind of have Thor energy without realizing it. They also like hilariously, and Todd loves them. Todd loves them, and they
Oh,
snub him. Like he tries to pet every dog he sees, but
yes.
especially French bulldogs, and every single one like is repulsed by him, like cringes away in like
Oh,
absolute
oh,
horror that
poor
he is trying
Todd.
to pet them,
Oh,
and
I'd be devastated.
it is hilarious to watch.
I'd be devastated.
Like a god on a planet that is like,
Yeah.
who are you to be trying to
Why
touch?
should I deign to let you touch me, mere mortal?
Yeah, exactly. So French bulldog.
That's great. I like that pick a lot. Um, I picked, as you probably have guessed. Oh, well, let me say, this one of the reference charts said goodness. And I was thinking about also something that's in between following rules and being like utterly and totally chaotic. And I thought of pit bulls.
That is where I originally had them.
Yes. And it's, I guess I'm like kind of, I'm also thinking of my boy Gizmo. When I think about this, because he's a pit bull I've had for a long time now, and we just got a new other puppy that's also a pit bull, but and he's the same Squirt, is that it's like a lot of positive, sweet energy, like always wanting to be touching you, always like following you around the house, like wanting to love you, like the loveliest love bugs on the planet. And also a little obstinate. You know what I mean? They're not like always doing what you say, but they're not doing what you say to, you know what I mean? Because I do have a dog that's like that too. I have a dog that is chaotic. But I think pit bulls are just love bugs at their deepest core. And so yeah, I put them here.
When I was doing the chart without the Marvel references, this is where I wanted to put them. But also, like, there is something chaotic about them.
Oh, for sure.
So
That's
it
true.
felt like I couldn't not have them in the chaotic category. So
Mm, yeah, I was wondering, I was kind of choosing and I picked another one over them, which you'll laugh at. Okay, so moving on to true neutral. I guess that's me.
mhm.
So I picked the Shiba Inu for true neutral
Mm.
because they to me are very like independent, aloof. They don't I've never met one that cared to, it's sort of like what you're talking about with the French bulldogs in a way of like they're sort of like, why would I, you know, get out of my face. You know what I mean? Like I'm not here to please you. I am, and I feel like they're kind of like human in a way. Do you know what I mean? They have sort of like a person countenance where I have definitely felt judged by a Shiba Inu. Okay.
I don't think I've ever met, like, been in around one live, so I don't know that I
Cool
know their
dogs.
personalities.
They're cool dogs, but they're very like, it's like a cat.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like a cat. And so I think that that's such like a specific personality to that breed. It seems like. I mean, I'm obviously painting them all with a broad brush, but that's my impression. And so I said, and I like them. I think they're cool. I think they're interesting dogs, you know. Um, and they seem like very sort of like proper, and I don't know. I feel like they want their space. They want to do their own thing. So yeah, true neutral for Shiba Inu.
Mm.
What about you?
So true neutral in the Marvel universe is Hawkeye or Jeremy Renner. This is a very Amy analysis. This is like it's just felt right, and I don't know that I could tell you
Yes,
why.
tell
I
us.
I went with the corgi. It just like I was like basically pulled up a dog breed chart, and I was like, which one is Jeremy Renner? And then I was like, I think it's the corgi.
I'm laughing my ass off right now because you know that one of the Queen of England's corgis ate an or a couple of them they're crazy. They're chaos. But yeah, no, I like, that's why I think it's really funny.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just
So
yeah,
tell us why it hit you like that, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think of them as being like sweet, kind of beloved dogs. I do not know this queen story. I mean, I know they have like a great corgi meetup where like everyone
Yeah.
brings a corgis and they're like massive. Everyone loves their cute little bouncy butts.
I was gonna
Like,
say it's all about the booties.
yeah, they have those
Love
cute
it.
little ears.
Love
Like,
it. They're adorable. There's definitely no getting around that. They are stinking cute.
yeah, I don't know. It just felt right.
You know I'm into that. You know I'm into that. So love that.
Um, yeah, so yeah, I don't have further explanation for it. But I do have better analysis. Actually, I don't think the next one takes much more analysis, but for neutral evil, although I don't think this is totally fair, but neutral evil is Nick Fury or Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
Um,
that doesn't.
who isn't evil, but whatever,
Yeah.
we'll just let that go. Um, So Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, and I went with a Rottweiler, which I just think
Oh,
matches really nicely with him. And I love a Rottweiler. I was also like on the fence with the Doberman Pinscher, which could go, but like Rottweiler just really, really works
I
well
love a Rottweiler.
there. I know I love a big grow their
Oh,
face.
yes.
Um,
Big old heads.
they're beautiful dogs, I know. And they're also really sweet,
They
which
really are.
Cujo gave them a very bad rep, which is super unfair. That's
I'm laughing, and the reason I'm
oh
laughing
no, is that what you put here?
is because my neutral evil is Cujo.
Oh no, that's kind of like twinsies.
That kind of counts as twinsies because, as I mentioned, I didn't want to give a particular dog breed this is like some kind of we have to think of a name for whatever this is. When I was like, Cujo, it's so okay, first of all, um, it's a very sad movie because as a dog lover, because this is a sweet, precious angel of a dog that gets bit by a rabid bat and then, sort of spirals into a killing machine. And so that's evil, but it's neutral evil because it's not his fault, is how I feel it. He doesn't have any malice. He is being led by the rabies virus destroying his brain cells or whatever. Um, it's also a book, by the way, by Stephen King, which is a good book. I started reading Stephen King because I've been trying to read more horror books, which I'm loving. And it was really good. And I just think it's funny. I bring it up because he now says that he doesn't even remember writing it because he was so high on cocaine.
Oh, that's crazy.
Insane. But yeah, Cujo.
I remember when I was like pretty young, when we lived at our like earliest house, there was a time that a Rottweiler uh, just like wandered into our backyard, and it was during the winter because I remember it was very cold out, and she was just like huddled up like against our house, and she was so sweet and
Sweetie.
cold, and I just
Oh,
loved her.
they're really sweetie dogs. And it wasn't Cujo's fault.
No, obviously. Okay, keep us going with chaotic
Yeah.
good.
Chaotic good. This is where I put French bulldogs.
I mean, that's right next door. It's not
Yeah,
that
right
far
next
off.
because they're very sweet. I've never met a French bulldog that I didn't think was very sweet. And also they are crazy. Like first of all, I should say French bulldogs are sort of like the dog of LA. I kind of feel like there's a lot of
Mhm.
them here. And whenever we're walking our dogs,
I
if
think
there's a
they're the dog of America. I think they said that
I
on the
think
dog
they
show. Yeah,
yeah, they've probably overtaken labs, I'm sure.
right.
Um, but a French bulldog basically will be like, "Hey, hey, who are you? What are you doing?" And like it'll like get right up in our dog's face, like, "Ah," and then stop, and then kind of be like, "No, I'm your friend," But I mean, it's just like real, and then they, they do their zoomies. I feel like they're in a constant state of zoomy. I love a zoomie. That's one of the wonderful things about dogs is when they get all run around, knock things over. But I feel like French bulldogs, like basic baseline is a zoomie, and so I put French bulldogs in chaotic good.
I think that's a great pick.
You. What did you pick?
Chaotic good in the Marvel universe is Iron Man or Robert Downey Jr.
Definitely not a French bulldog. He's not.
Right. And I mean, we've also talked about this being like, if you needed to bury a body, like you call that friend that's going to be like, no questions asked, like, let's make a plan. So I put this as an Australian cattle dog. Like,
Oh, that's
they're really smart dogs, like super high energy. And it's just like, they'll start digging. They're not going to ask questions. Like, they're just going to be like, yeah, let's go. Like,
literally Mad Max taught his to shoot a shotgun in that
yeah,
movie.
it's like I know someone that has one, and it's like they're all brains and energy and nothing else. Like, and I feel
Oh
like
my
that's
God, I
like
love it.
Robert Downey Jr. and
A hundred, 100%.
yeah, they take very special owners. Like, not a normal person cannot have that
No,
dog.
not me for sure. I like the land hippos that just
Yes,
sleep 20
yes,
hours a day.
right,
And they want to sleep on top of you.
yes, yes.
Oh, that's a great pick.
So that's yeah, my chaotic good. Okay, so then chaotic neutral is the Hulk or Bruce Banner, which is played
Hmm.
by Mark Ruffalo, or at least that's the version that I prefer. Which that's where I put my pitties. Um,
Oh.
because I do feel like they're like smash. But then also sometimes like contemplating the Chinese markets. Like it's like it
Yeah,
just
right,
you just
right.
don't know which version of them you're gonna get. Like sometimes I look at rutabaga and I'm like, what math problem are you solving right now? Like what are you thinking about over there? What deep feelings are you having? And then sometimes it's like big head, no thoughts. Like, and then sometimes it's zoomies, and sometimes it's like bull in a china shop, and sometimes it's like, yeah, land hippos. It's like it's very complex and super chaotic. And you don't it's and there's no rules. Like it's just it's all of the things.
I feel like that's so even though we never have to think about what if Gizmo's contemplating a math problem. We've never had that issue with Gizmo. But I feel you in the, like, just sort of peaks and valleys and craziness. Like, yeah, I mean, Gizmo's does Rutabaga still have his full tail?
Mhm.
So does Gizmo, and he has legit cleared a coffee table of drinks before with that thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, what a joy.
Um, oh they're just messes. They're just such and they don't yeah, they have no understanding of their size, just like a Hulk. And
Oh, I
um
like that. That's true.
yeah, just kind of disasters, but not unintentional. Well-meaning, just
Like a bull in a china shop or
yeah, yeah,
a Hulk.
like a Hulk. Um,
Excellent analysis.
yeah, so that's where I put pitties.
Love them.
I love them too.
Uh, I for my neutral chaotic neutral, I picked huskies.
Hmm.
I feel like they're unpredictable. I feel like they're willful. They're a lot. I could never own a husky, you know what I mean? I think it's like they're too smart, you know? And I just think that they are the impression I get from a husky is it's like I'm out for number 1, you know what I mean? And number 1 is me.
Oh
And
my God.
they are so loud, you know, when they like talk to you and like yell at you and stuff.
Have you seen that video of the husky that's the family's Italian, and when it talks back to them, it sounds like it's speaking Italian? It's
No!
amazing. It's
Okay, we're gonna have to
amazing.
find
We'll have
that.
to find it and share it because it's
Hold on, let me
hilarious.
take that note of husky Italian family, because that is really funny.
It's so funny.
Uh, yeah, I just think that they're kind of extra in that they don't have, you know, cyclone kind of. And actually, interestingly enough, my dog Ripley, who is a super mutt, the only dogs that she typically likes are huskies. She has like a very breed specific, where she's like, "Oh, okay, I don't mind you," and
That's so
everybody else
interesting.
she hates.
Hmm.
Oh, so are we, we're moving on down.
Yeah,
Good
take
pace.
chaotic evil.
So I know I said that all of my evils were fictional dogs because I didn't think any breed was evil except for Chihuahua, which is my chaotic evil. Twinkies!
Twinsies! Boo!
I mean, how could they not be this?
Honestly, anyone I said dog breeds to, they were like, Chihuahua's chaotic evil. Everyone said it. Everyone said it.
I mean, they're so small, and yet they contain the fury of multitudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which respect in a way, I suppose, but like, how can you be so angry all
I
the
mean,
time?
Loki is the character
Oh,
reference,
that's so
and it's
perfect.
like transforming to all of these different things, like can be anything at any time. Like
That's
it's
perfect.
manipulative, like all of the things. And honestly, I had a Chihuahua adjacent dog, and I love that dog, but it's still like it's chaotic.
Okay, well, do you remember Barnaby?
No. Okay,
My
hold
dog
on.
Barnaby?
Okay, I remember the name Barnaby, but I don't. But why can't I remember Barnaby?
Well, probably now I'm remembering. So Barnaby was the first dog that we ever got, which my parents got to try to make me less afraid of dogs because I had a fear of dogs because when I was 2, I went up to an aunt's house and one of her little dogs jumped up and bit me in the face. And so after that, I was like deathly afraid
No
of
wonder
dogs.
you had a hard time with dogs. That's
Yeah.
very normal. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I don't actually remember it happening, but I do remember being
But
very terrified of dogs after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hit me right here on the mouth, on the top lip.
Oh.
Um, and so my parents, my dad specifically, went to the Humane Society to pick up a dog, and it was a little Chihuahua mix, and it was a
The
female.
worst kind of dog to get.
Oh, Jenna, and my brother got to name her. I'm not sure why, whatever, but he insisted on naming her Barnaby after this cat that was on the Dumbo Circus show. And so that was Barnaby, that was our dog. And as you can imagine, as you said, not a very good breed or mix if for a kid that's scared of dogs. Barnaby bit basically everyone in the family other than me actually, but probably because I gave her a wide berth because, I was already terrified of dogs and she seemed to just sort of add to that fear. And in fact, she bit the neighbor boy twice. And I remember telling someone this story in college, and I was like, yeah, and that's when Barnaby went to go live on a nice farm. And then I was like, wait a minute. And sure enough, Barnaby got put down. And I did not know that until I had that moment of realization in the middle of telling that story to someone in college.
Oh my gosh. I remember Fudge.
Mm. Fudge was so sweet. Poor Fudge. She was an outside dog. Now that I think back on it, I'm like, ugh, poor Fudge. Jesus.
He was a sweet girl though.
I remember all your dogs. You've had some really amazing dogs. I remember Nella. I remember what was that sweet Boston Terrier y'all had?
We had Lady,
Lady. And what about the Beagle?
Sydney. My dad has two
Sydney!
beagles now.
Oh, no
Um,
way. I
mhm.
loved y'all's dogs. I really did like them. And that was, yeah, we just didn't have inside dogs. And now there's one right there. She's walking in. There's dogs
Ripley.
everywhere over here now.
I
Do
know.
you have a lightning round?
No, but I can think of one off the top of my head. Let's see, what would be a good one that we haven't talked about that didn't make the chart? What about a basset hound?
Oh, I love that you asked about a basset hound. I literally had just looked up basset hound. One of our part-time listeners, Sharon, shout out, has a beautiful basset hound. I feel like basset hound, they're so sweet, you know, like and calm and sort of like slow paced and like droopy and I'm gonna do the wisdom. And so I think I'm gonna say neutral good because they're not necessarily following all, they do have the droopiness, right? But I feel like they're just a bit sweet, and they have those tiny little legs. Their legs are like super short and they kind of point outwards, their little paws. I adore them. Neutral good. Great, great, great one.
What
Are you
about
ready
you?
for yours?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with mutts.
Oh, I almost put rescues on if I had an
Me
original
too.
chart.
Me too.
Um, I feel like you got to go true neutral with mutts because it's like there's no laws. Like you're not
Slow
following any
clap.
laws, and it depends on how it goes to whether it's lawful or chaos or like neutral or good or evil.
1000% couldn't agree more. And I actually, that's where I had that in my chart beforehand. And okay, one more question. Where would you put Rutabaga, your dog Rutabaga, in this chart?
I would probably put rutabaga in chaotic good.
Oh, Rudy the cutie. And Rudy the cutie is a little sweet gray and blue or gray, depending on, how you call it, little white pit bull. Precious, amazing boy.
He's kind of like taupe. He is
Oh, he's taupe. I thought he was blue boy. He's
he's
taupe
kind
boy.
of yeah, he's kind of like a weird shade of like light brown.
That's Squirt. Squirt's that same color.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great guy. He loves all people. He's not good with other dogs. We think he's had some rough history with other dogs. He just has some very bad scars and has even
Baby.
evidence of being shot with buckshot in the face.
No!
Just some very bad um just some yeah, very bad evidence
Baby.
on his body of not being treated well, but does not let that affect how much he loves every person he
What
meets.
a
So
baby. How
he's a
old was
good
he when
guy.
y'all got him?
We don't know. So we had his 5-year adoptiversary last March. So we've had him
Oh,
for 5 years. Um, But yeah, they said 1 to 3 when we got him. So yeah, he could be 6 to 8.
Precious.
Yeah.
Precious. Um, I feel like my dog Ripley is true neutral for sure. She was like the one that I got. She's a super mutt, uber mutt. She's almost 13 years old. She's had zero health problems. The vet literally called her a supermodel. Um,
Oh,
yeah. She was like, "Oh my God, this snatched waist, these long legs." I was like, "Damn, Ripley, people usually don't get that good of reviews when they go to the doctor." And then Gizmo is neutral good because he's just a good sweetie pie, boo, 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 snuggle boy. And our new little boy Squirt is definitely chaotic good because he'll go from like sleeping to like pinballing all around. So, yeah. But I mean, gosh, Jenna, what would we do without dogs, you know?
I know. It is I mean, there are several things that I take away as almost like gifts of COVID. And one of them was definitely like being home all the time. Like I became so bonded with Rutabaga in a way that I don't think I ever could have been from going into an office all the time. And um just becoming like used to each other's routine in a different way and just getting used to talking to him all the time. I realized how much a dog can get used to dialogue and language in a different way. And he just understands so much of what I say if you just get used to saying it regularly. Like they can just learn so
Mhm.
many things. So I just feel like we can communicate and it's
I
just
love
really
that.
kind of bizarre.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Have you ever thought about getting those buttons? Those
No.
buttons they put on the ground? I know Eric was like, "That's bullshit." But an example of dog science.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't feel like I need that for any reason, but I just feel like I can say, like, we just have lots of things that we say regularly. And I just feel like he understands,
He
like,
knows
let's go
them.
upstairs, or
Yeah.
he understands, like, when I'm done eating and I don't have anything else to give him, I'll say all done. And he, like, I mean, we just have, because he just knows the pattern of it. He knows when I get off of a call, he knows how I say goodbye at the end of a call. He knows I'm done with the call. And it's like, I can give him attention or let him out. Like, he just knows routines. So they just learn so many things.
When it's like those memes where other people will be like pretend to be on the phone and then they say their dog's favorite words. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
I I could watch an endless number of hours of that content. Like however many dogs there are on planet Earth, I could watch a video of each of them hearing their favorite words as somebody's talking on the phone. Um, and I feel like what I do with my dogs, I've realized, is I sing to them all day. I make up little
Oh,
songs, and I mean they're stupid little songs. I'll be like, I can't come up with one on the spot, but I had one
right.
about Squirt just earlier about not, holding his poop and we had a whole little song going down and had a whole little song coming up. And I thought about the other day and since yeah, I'm similarly home with them all day long and Eric is not, he does not work from home. And so I am talking to them, I'm singing with them or at them, I suppose. I picked Ripley up the other day and I was dancing around with her until she bit me on the mouth and told me that she was done with that and it was time to put her down. Another reason why she's true neutral. But anyway, yeah, dogs are
They're magic.
the only god I pray to.
Amazing. Well, adopt.
Adopt, don't shop.
That's it. Thank you
And
for
also,
listening.
thank you for listening. I love you, Jenna.
I love you too. I hope I
Mwah.
get to meet your sweet babies soon. I mean, I know
Same.
Ripley, but the others.
Yeah, Ripley's an
Um,
old.
I know. I know. How old is she?
She's gonna be 13 in March. I've had her for 12 and a half years.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I love you.
Um, I love you too. See you next week.
See you next week.